Now it is my hope that City Marshal Brown will put an end to Archie Young Bull's mischief and restore peace and order to Medicine Lodge. The last thing this territory needs is Indian trouble or a bunch of nervous settlers demanding protection by the Army. As United States Marshal for the territory, I figure to send Jeff a little help." Ridgway fell silent again. I could hear the ticking of the regulator clock on the wall behind me. The steady buzz of a housefly seemed loud in the stillness. Ridgway swung his chair about and looked at me. "I figure to send him you," he said. Chapter 2. Ridgway leaned back in his swivel chair, his fingers laced across his vest. He was waiting for my answer, but of course he already knew what it would be. "I'm curious, Marshal," I said. "Why didn't you give this job to Luther Littlewolf? He's been your deputy longer than I have, and he's a full-blooded Crow Indian, and he speaks the language." The Marshal straightened. "Luther is on assignment over in the Missouri Breaks country, tracking rustlers and whiskey runners out of Canada. You have my full confidence, son." "One more question. I thought the Indian police enforced the law on the reservation." "They do, mostly, but the town of Medicine Lodge is a special case. The Crows don't want towns or settlers on their land, but some of those big cowmen I told you about have friends in high places. In spite of the Crows' objections, and the treaties and agreements our government has made with the tribe, they managed to get the township approved. Medicine Lodge has been set aside from tribal authority by special decree. The town makes its own laws. Indian police have no jurisdiction inside the city limits." Ridgway looked thoughtful. "There is one more thing," he said. "On the reservation, the Indian agent is pretty much absolute ruler. He answers only to the Commissioner of Indian Affairs in Washington, who answers only to the Secretary of the Interior, who answers only to the President. The agent oversees the Indian Police Force, the Court of Indian Offenses, and the Tribal Council. That means one man makes the laws, enforces the laws, and judges the lawbreakers. Sometimes he even arrests and punishes Indians without holding trials." "Some Indian agents are good men," Ridgway continued, "honest and dedicated to helping the Indian people. Others are damned scoundrels who have finagled the appointment so they can enrich themselves at the Indians' expense. Most, I suspect, are bureaucrats who fall somewhere between those two extremes. For some reason, they all seem to take the title of Major, whether they've been anywhere near an army post or not.